Hey viewers, how's it going? My name's DividableHalo HD, and today I am joined by the 99th Dre. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Alright, so for today's interview, I'm going to be asking you a series of questions about your lore, your past, and about the 99th. So for my first question, I'm going to ask you is when did you first officially join the Halo Clan community?
I don't really have a month, but it was around in 2013. I am aware of that. I'm pretty sure of that.
Alright, and what clan did you kind of were involved with when you joined the clan community?
It was the UGN, United Golden Nation, led by II John X117, I believe. Now known as Maybe Michael.
Alright, so what made you join the Halo Clan community? Did you come across a video, or did you just kind of like bump into them?
Well, John was, I guess, pretending to be or buddy buddy with Isler Source UK, and basically was invited to, I guess, community meetings, and I saw them in a lobby, and John invited me to one of the lobbies and kind of got me into a lobby, and I was like, oh shit, there's a crap ton of clan leaders. So I was just like, oh sweet, I basically sent friend requests to all of them, or they sent them to me when they heard me talk, and then it kind of just went on from there. Obviously, every time a community meeting was held, I was basically invited and notified of it, and just kind of went from there.
Alright, so were you like part of the UGN during these meetings, or?
No, I've only been part of one clan before, and that was a clan called JSOC,
Alright,
and then I created the 99th. So, and then I just ended up meeting UGN, and I believe in a lobby in matchmaking.
alright. So, what is your experience with like the first clan?
You mean like with UGN?
With like the first clan you've been part
Oh,
of?
okay. Well, my experience was I kind of was I was playing Halo Reach with my buddy in real life, and then we met this kid that we knew in my little brother's best friend, and this kid was on Xbox. We were playing a game, and he sent us. He told us, hey guys, I gotta go. My clan leader's calling me. He says I have to join him, and I was like, what the fuck do you mean? He's just like, well, he says if I don't, basically if I don't join him, I'm gonna get kicked out of the clan. I'm like, well, just stay here. Who gives a fuck? He's like, I have to listen. I'm sorry. And I'm like, why would anyone let anyone tell anybody what to do on a game? It's a fucking game. Do what the fuck you want. And so he said, you should join. It's pretty tight. And he's like, I gotta go. And we joined it within the next hour after their training. And it was led by Destroyer 652, from what I'm aware of, and at the time. And then basically we joined it, went through a training session. I thought it was cool enough or entertaining enough to, it was a new experience obviously, to continue. My plan was originally to join and just fucking be a troll and just shoot people up, just to be an asshole. And then obviously it was something that I'd never seen before. Kind of went on from there, and role playing and taking things in moderation went on from there, and I just kind of started enjoying it.
Alright. So, what made you kind of like go away from that clan, or like go on to whatever went on next with the community?
Well, it kind of basically some inner clan problems, obviously, just like anything else, happened within JSOC, where the two leaders, the Destroyer 652, kind of was outcasted or betrayed. I didn't really obviously get a hold into that because I was a little bit of a lower rank by some of the members, and so they kind of outcasted themselves, created a new clan, and one of my division leaders had kind of taken on the leadership role, and Destroyer was obviously offended by that. They kind of fought each other off, and then made deals where if they lost a battle, they had to end the clan. So they did, created a new version. He got annoyed with it, and harassed by Destroyer, and basically decided when he met JFCA, the clan, they offered them to merge and create a division there. So they basically tried to dump us into JFCA. When we went to our meeting with JFCA to kind of merge in, I didn't know who they were. They sounded cool, but they also I sounded like they were going to just treat us like scum. So it wasn't like I was offended or bothered by it. I just took it as an opportunity to kind of part my ways. It was me and my buddy. In real life, we basically decided that we were going to create a clan and basically, just do our own thing. and bring on anybody who didn't want to join the JFCA with us, so that they could actually be somebodies instead of sitting at the bottom of a rank.
All right. And what clan was this that you guys created?
We created the 99th Regiment clan.
All right. So was the 99th like kind of the part where you meet the UGN?
Yeah, 99th is where, I would say, I want to say 6 months, 8 months, something like that. Obviously, I don't have really a good like timeline, but yeah, we roughly somewhere in there. I met one of the members of UGN doing recruiting, and that led me to John. I don't think the UGN was created at that time. It was more so like I created the 99th. Obviously, was running around, and then John asked to join my lobby when I was doing a meeting, and I had 3 spots open. He joined it, and I was just like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Like, he was just like, "Oh, I'm just listening," and I was like, "Okay." And then I remember a couple days later, something like that, UGN, I believe, was created, and then that's basically, I guess, expanded from there. That, or he had just renamed it. I know he renamed it a couple times. So from my memory and from what I'm aware of, UGN was created, and then it kind of went off from there. And then me and him became allies, and like there's a whole story behind that. But that's kind of how I was introduced to the community from there.
All right. So during these meetings, did you get well known between like other clan leaders?
Um, Yes and no. I mean, it was kind of normal. Obviously, you join a clan meeting, everybody basically just friends you or doesn't. It was kind of one of those things. I didn't get to talk much, except for every once in a while. I more so just listened in because I didn't want to speak where I was basically going to be just gang banged on if I said something out of place or wrong. So I more so listened in. After a couple meetings, I eventually decided to give my own input on certain things, and then it was one of those things I just kind of worked my way into knowing people exterior. Like the meeting was just a listening in, and then after that, I'd basically have a one-on-one talk with other clan leaders, become allies, become rivals, or whatever like that. And then obviously, how I branched off from there and got to know everybody was basically asking everybody for a raid. As I just asked them, "Hey, let's raid," and then I beat them, and then they'd get mad, and then I move on to the next one.
All right. So what was your like kind of first conflict with the 99th against another clan?
It was against the UGN, and that was because they betrayed us. He treated me and my clan like we were, like he used us as an ally. Basically, whenever he needed help, and only when he needed help, he would ask for us to join his game, take over his base, or take his bases back from another clan, or help another clan out. I mean, help him defend his base from another clan, and then he wouldn't really join our games really whenever we invited him, or he wasn't reliable. And there's just some things just stacked up, and I just decided that I was really sick and tired of it. He also treated me and talked about me and my clan like we were small, but in my eyes, obviously, it offended me. It's kind of like when you tell a kid that he's a kid. You don't, even though you're 13 years old, you don't feel like you're going to be called a kid. I mean, you obviously are a kid, and it's just an opinion. But he kept calling my clan small and just nobodies, and he treated us like that, and I got offended by that. So honestly, started a conflict from there, and he treated it like it was nothing until it grew to be something.
All right. So did you kind of like declare war, or did you just have like
Yeah, yeah, I declared war against him, and then at the same time, I was also in conversation with the only person who actually responded to my messages, calls, and everything like that would be a guy named Orange Puma, or could be now known as Tobias Albius, or It Tobias, if anybody knows him. And he was like one of the generals, or the VP. I couldn't remember at the time. I think he was one of the generals in the UGN, and I kind of had to talk through him to get to John. John didn't want to tolerate talking to anyone, especially when it involved any trash talk, which is understandable, but I mean, it is a game. There has to be some of that somewhere. And so we started, obviously, I had to discuss through him when we did battles. I had to say, hey, I want to raid you. I want you to raid us now, this and that. But at that time, we were using like super OP bases. They were using OP bases, and it's just like that kind of how that was the mindset. Is everybody used OP bases, so in general, everybody thought that was okay. And I was just more so going off of rage, or I felt offended again. You know, I was looked at as some piece of shit clan, some small clan, and I knew I wasn't because I mean, a clan. I won against many clans, and you know, again, they were small, but again, I didn't know that at the time, or didn't consider them small. In my opinion, they were just clans. I kept winning and winning and winning, and obviously, I assumed, hey, if I'm winning all these games, obviously, I'm not a nobody, and I'm a piece of shit, and I'm not a small clan. So obviously, I took that from there and just took all that rage and adrenaline and took it to creating a battle that slowly led off to Tobiah or Orange Puma kind of creating a rebellion within the UGN and a revolution, and then leaving and creating ASG, the Arch Sentinel Guardians, and then we together fought off John and kind of went against him continuously, and that kind of went on from there.
All right. So did this war really ever end, or?
No, honestly, it didn't until I want to say it like lasted a year. Like it wasn't it wasn't a very active war all the time. It was more so me harassing him for battles and me harassing his clan. I invited him to surprise raids, his clan members to surprise raids. I even had my members, like, this is over a time period, like so many things were done nasty to him. I mean, but I mean the only way that the war actually ended was the fact asking for an alliance again, as my clan grew to somebody, and we kept winning or fighting against it. I kept finding clans to play against him, and he eventually just, I don't know, I got tired of him denying me to everything and saying no, and there was no battles, to the point where we just, after a year or so, I just finally said, well, I've gotten assassinations on you, I've had players beaten you in 1v1s, we've beaten you in raids. We've also, so, I mean, it was just one of those things. There's just like, you won't let me fight you, and there's only so much I can do to make you fight me. So I'm tired, and I've gotten everything that I can get out of you, and we're done. So then we eventually became just neutral. And every time an opportunity came up that somebody wanted to fight the UGN, everybody thought that they were some massive clan and some almighty clan, and I said, yeah, I'm down for it. And I would fight them again. And then from there on, it just kind of branched out to he kept denying it. No, I don't want to go to war with you. No, you know, whatever. Or he would ignore me and wouldn't respond. He wouldn't accept anything. He would appear offline, go to Minecraft, some bullshit. And I just got really sick and tired of it. Obviously, it was like poking your brother, and your brother just doesn't get bothered by it. Like, eventually you're just going to stop. Like, there's no fun. So that's kind of how that stopped. But I mean, through the conflict, I remember one of the funniest things was sending one of my members into his clan, and the member became, I guess, a very popular member in his clan. Everybody loved him. He was from the UK, and basically this guy became best friends with everybody, even John. And John contemplated and said that he was going to put him on his, like, honored guards or something like that, and when he became part of the his guards or whatever, he was going to basically ruin the whole clan. And I was like, honestly, I'm tired of waiting. It's been a couple weeks. Let's just fuck him up. So I said, here, I made this map myself. It's OP as shit, but I mean, I made it. It's funny. It's called Fort Omega, and I told them, I said, give this to John, run him around in 5 people. In the raid, you know, try and get him to be a decent sized lobby, but nothing too big, and run him up the map. Once you get up the map, I want you to walk in have him walk in the teleporter. This is the armory. They walk in, and they appear back at spawn, and he would basically hold the base and then invite us all. And we joined. John ended up taking the base immediately. And then we took it back from him because all of his guys were very cocky while holding the base for like 15 minutes, and we basically out Magnum or whatever we had. I think it was Magnums and assault rifles. We just or it could have been just assault rifles, and we just literally outdid them or a couple of their members. Got in the base, you know, avoided the tanks, and slowly by slowly, obviously all the members left, and John came up with the excuse after 6 hours of raiding. Of course, why would you stay for 6 hours raiding if you had this excuse? His excuse was, well, you kicked all of our members in the beginning of the game, but in reality, only one left. And that's because they were told to. But he left, And John said, "Oh well, he was kicked from the raid, so it's an automatic raid win. So none of this matters. You know, you can have the base. We were just in there trolling you." Clearly, that's a lie. If you stayed in the raid, not only did you lose the base, but you also continued to attack it for the next couple hours, which is pretty pointless. Like, obviously, if you knew you won the raid, you would leave it in the beginning of the raid instead of waste your time. So, I mean, that was one of the funniest parts. And in the cave was like a 99 TH, just so that when somebody walked in it, or when we went in the video in theater mode, I was going to make a video about it and kind of show that they walked through this whole map and gave him a tour of the base, saying, "Hey, John, use this base against the 99th or anybody else that you're going to use it against, and you know, it'll be awesome." And the fact that the whole time on that map was the 99th, and you know, they never saw, obviously, because they never walked through the cave. But that was kind of one of the funny parts of it. But we did a lot of raids like that kind of just tried to embarrass him and make him look like shit, and make his members think low of him. Just kind of obviously just make him feel bad.
All right. So, of course, there has been other clan conflicts or anyone in the community that you have had conflicts with.
Yeah, obviously I've had conflicts with basically every clan out there, some more than others. Are you looking for like basically just top clans that we had conflicts with?
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, I would say not in any particular order, but UGN, some of them they're half fake stalkers, half real stalkers, but LN stalkers, and then HiCom, Kurt, A051 SII, or now known as II, and then Navcom and Goldpack, obviously.
All right. So, what was your conflict with Kurt or Leglink?
So with Kurt, basically it started off with the fact that he's offended with anybody and everybody that is a threat to him. Anyone that he seems is better than him, or whatever he feels any threat towards, somebody's taller than him, older than him, whatever, he just finds a way to feel threatened by them. And I don't really remember how it started, honestly. He just makes his own reasons for starting shit, and he just met me in a lobby and started talking trash about me. And I heard a rumor about it a lot, and I said, you know what, I heard you're talking trash, and my common response is, hey, I heard you're talking trash, if you've got shit to say, like, let's do something. We can 4v4, 8v8, raid, like, let's raid sometime. Most of the time, we didn't get anywhere because he just likes to sit in a lobby, like majority of clan leaders in the community that won't back their shit up, is they just like to sit in a lobby and trash talk. I love trash talk, but in all reality, like, if you're going to trash talk, there has to be a little bit of backing it up, and then you can trash talk either during the game or at the end of the game, not 6 hours before it. Like, let's do something. But in all reality, he basically got on, and I mean, his conflict was more, even more so of a long-term conflict, just like the UGN, but a lot more inactivity, because he had problems with everybody, and he liked to, I guess, take time off. But he just tried to boot me offline all the time, threatened he had my IP, just simple stuff that he did to everybody. But obviously ran around in lobbies saying Dre's, Dr. Dre's shit, he's pathetic, blah, 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 blah. And, that he has my IP, he's trashed all my members. And then a big thing happened when one of his teams had beaten my team in a 4v4. Obviously, we lost fair and square. My team and I agree, have stated that one of our members was a new member, and we put him in the 4v4. Again, that was our fault, but it doesn't really matter. Losing is losing, even if it was a shit member. It doesn't matter, best members or not. We played it and we lost it, and he kind of carried that on forever, and just basically thought that if he won once, then he can obviously just boast about it forever. And that's all he needed to do was win once. And I was never threatened by Kurt or scared of him. Obviously, I learned that I was going to get booted off a lot. I was always threatened about that, even if people didn't have booters. So I just pretended that I always had a booter, but I knew to be careful and quiet about it sometimes, because I didn't want to get myself like him. And I just went around stating that, obviously I wasn't threatened or scared of him. I was welcome to jump in a lobby and or party with him. If I went offline, unplug my router, plug it back in. And sometimes I was at a parent's house that had a router that just, like, the IP just reset. So I just was like, had a new IP or whatever, and I was able to get back online. It was a dynamic IP. So I was able to just get back online in the next couple of seconds. And I just enjoyed obviously the harassment of him. And then obviously, just like anybody else, he kind of slipped up a lot and made mistakes along the way, and I was able to catch him. A big one on my YouTube channel that everyone can see, and I'm sure it's not actually one that hasn't been had a lot of views, surprisingly, is one where Highcom Kurt basically states that like he made a comment somewhere in a group chat about cancer, and I knew I would get a riot out of him, and that's why I pushed him. But I said, hey, honestly, I'd really respect it if you didn't talk bad about cancer. I actually lost my brother to cancer, so I'd really appreciate it if you didn't, talk bad about cancer. It's not a joke, honestly, and I'm sure many people have lost loved ones too. And he basically said a whole bunch of shit in that chat, and then he decided to proceed to. I told him I was going to leave the chat and mute it, and he proceeded to go to a private chat with me on Facebook and spam me with "Cancer is love, cancer is life." And I knew that was perfect. So I screenshotted him, sent him to SOHX Vengeance, and I asked him if he could put him in a video because I didn't have a capture card. And I also had one of my members in my clan, one of my MLG guys, I said, hey, would you mind doing a 1v1 against one of his best members? And he said, yeah, definitely. If that's the kind of thing that he's doing and running around saying that his MLG guys beat everybody and they're the best in the community, then yeah, that's another reason to play him. And it was a guy named Fraudulent, and I know Vengeance talked about him, but he was supposedly his best member in Highcom. And Domestic, one of my members, basically shat all over him, and then got kicked from the game. Then right immediately after that same day, Fraudulent quit MLG and quit Halo Reach and took a break from it for a couple months. He even stated it and gave it to everybody in a message. And when I posted that video or Vengeance posted the video, I also posted it on my own channel and basically Kurt's entire MLG team messaged me on Kick or Facebook or in a group chat, and they said, hey, I saw your video and I'm really sorry. I didn't realize that was the clan leader I was playing for. That's pretty fucked up. I'm leaving his clan just for that. That's embarrassing. And I felt accomplished. I didn't realize it was going to make that big of an impact, and it did. And he basically lost his entire MLG team from that point on, and he never played another 4v4 against someone decent for sure from that day on. I know that for sure. So that's kind of was a big one that I really thought was hilarious and funny, that he just kind of took a piss out of cancer. And obviously I didn't take it seriously, but I kindly and respectfully, acted towards it, and I got a riot out of him because I knew I would, because he doesn't want to do anything but show disrespect to anyone. But that's kind of the biggest thing with him. There wasn't too many battles against him because he wouldn't play me. He was all talk, no game.
All right. So, do you keep up with modern Kurt now, or not really?
Now, me and him have more of a neutral standing and an okay standing, because I guess, I don't know what happened. I think when he's kind of warmed up to everybody, just like Vengeance, he used to have a big thing against him, and they used to have shit together. I mean, nowadays, they still talk. Same thing with Kurt and I. Kurt will come into a lobby, and he used to come into lobbies, whenever you just join a random raid, and he would come in the lobby and just say, oh, look, it's the 99th Regiment, shitty bastards. And now it's kind of worked into, hey, it's the 99th. And whoever invited him, he'd say, are they good or not? Are they friendly or not? And they would be like, yeah, they're chill. And then he'd be like, oh, okay, so what's up, Dre? How's 99th been? It's kind of that neutral standing. But yeah, I've kept up with him a little bit. Obviously not too much, because he doesn't give me problems, so there's really no point. No offense, but I don't really feel a reason to kind of follow him around, because he's not creating any threat or bother to me. He's just doing the same thing, boot or pretend to boot offline people, and that that gets mad. And again, if that's how he runs around, that's fine. I have nothing against it. That's kind of up to him and how he lives his life. Obviously, there's consequences for actions. And he's experienced that from gamer tags being banned.
All right. So another conflict that you listed a while back, or a little bit earlier, is the conflict between Gold Pack Marshall or the Gold Pack clan.
Yeah. And what did you kind of want to know about that?
Just kind of the whole story from the beginning on how you met Marshall until basically that amazing video that was released on your channel.
Yeah, so Marshall Goldpack, he kind of joined my clan. I found him actually in matchmaking, and he claimed that he was running a clan of like 50 people, and it was like one of the top clans. And I was like, oh, okay, well, just another clan running around matchmaking, pretending they're all that. And I knew, like, let's go see what he's got. So I just took a peek and said, yeah, I'll join your clan. Jumped in his training session, and it was just me and him one-on-one. He took me through his initiation course, he called it, and when I went through it, it was basically driving a warthog and looking for Easter eggs, and it was very unorganized, in my opinion. But again, I wasn't judging because obviously, like, that's his way of running things. But in my opinion, I thought it was pretty disorganized, and it was probably the easiest thing in the world. It required no skill other than, can you find this? Can you get to this? How fast can you get to this? Can you drive up this mountain? Not really driving up a mountain, you're just driving up a ramp. It was pretty just stupid and took nothing out of it. And he basically asked questions where he thought that they took like very serious answers, like, if you're on one side, if you're on Hamburger Hill, how do you get to, Rock Garden in a BTB map? And he's like, just show me. And I walked, between two hills, and he's just like, oh my God, you are amazing. No one's ever passed my test with flying colors. You've beaten every one of my tests, every one of my trainings with flying colors. I've never seen anyone pass them as fast as you have. You haven't gotten anything wrong. He's like, where have you been? You're like a god. And I was like, honestly, I'm not that good. This is basic stuff that I do within my clan. And, he was just like, well, what's your clan? And he asked about it, and I was like, gave him my website just like everybody else. And he was like, let me join. I would definitely like to join. I was like, sure. And honestly, if you say you actually do have 50 members and you bring in just 25 of them, like, you're welcome to run your own division, and I'll let you try and run an officers program, a division program in my clan, and basically do what you're doing, running a clan, but inside mine. And he was just like, okay, definitely. I'd be able to bring in definitely like 16 players for sure that'll join me like tomorrow. And I was like, all right, well, you've got 2 weeks. And he literally brought in a total of 9 members. Half or 3/4 of those members he recruited from matchmaking within the 2-week period that I gave him to bring his members. So he didn't really have the members he claimed, which is fine. I kind of assumed that. That's why I gave him 2 weeks to come up with the members. And then he didn't meet his goal. He didn't come up with the 16 players that I told him he had to have in 2 weeks. And I told him, I said, honestly, then you're going to have to run through the clan like everybody else, just a regular member. Start from the bottom, work your way to the top. And he got offended. And he was like, well, just give me one more day. Give me one more day. And I said, we'll talk about this in a couple days when I'm done, not busy. And then one of the days he decided to make himself an officer. In my clan, he just put on second lieutenant rank, steel over whatever gold, and created a division in my clan called Gold Pack or a Wolf Pack or something. And he created that, and my guys saw it running around at midnight and were like, Dre, dude, I didn't realize that you made him an officer. He hasn't really done anything in this clan other than not meet his goals, lie about everything he says. He's just, I don't feel he should be an officer, but I'm just curious if you actually made him one. I said, no, definitely not. He has definitely not even come close to earning it. We were going to discuss it. And he's just like, well, he's running a division right now and running training. So I got on, talked to him about it. And he basically told me that I was retarded for not making him an officer yet, and that he has done everything in this clan, and we've done nothing. And I was like, basically laid it out to him and showed him, why his opinion is false, or like why I feel that he's bullshitting. And he got offended, obviously, that I told him because of that, he had to obviously receive punishment, demotion. He couldn't become an officer right away, and he got offended by it. And he was just like, well, that means I'm never going to become an officer in your clan. This is fucking shit. And he left the clan immediately. He's like, I'm not getting demotion. I said, well, if you're not getting a demotion, that's obviously being disobedient. You have to be kicked from the clan. He's like, no, you're going to have to kick me from the clan, or I'm going to be, or I'm not going to get a demotion. I was like, then you're leaving the clan technically. It's your choice. You can take the demotion or not. Whatever. He had a fit and made a big old thing about the fact that he was kicked instead of he left. But obviously it was his decision to leave if he wasn't going to take the demotion. But that didn't go through with him in common sense. what they say, common sense isn't so common nowadays. So it was kind of one of those things, and I was like, all right. So we went through that, and he left left the clan, made his own clan, and his main goal immediately was to destroy the 99th Regiment because I didn't make him an officer. And so he went out and found all my biggest allies because I have them on my website, listed the gamer tag and the clan name, so it's not hard. And he found Vengeance as number one, and he said, Vengeance, I know you hate Dre, so have SOH and everybody else join up and kill him. And he found clans and that had a mutual hatred towards me because everyone hates me, which is fine. And he basically lied to them about everything, made up his own fat story to because obviously no one's going to join a whiny baby that just didn't make officer rank and created a clan to destroy me. Like, that's obviously. So he created his own little lie and changed his story so many times, which is why everybody figured him out. And he eventually developed into the famous lying, cheating, bullshitting gold pack that doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. And then he invited me to games. Everything had to go his way. Timer had to be on his watch. If you didn't wear the right colors that he asked you to wear when you're fighting him in a raid, or attack his base the right way, if you spawn killed him too many times, or killed him and took him out of his own base, he'd kick you and tell you that you lost a raid. And that's basically how that went. And obviously he, time and time again, he would continuously message me saying, hey, Dre, I still think of you as one of the best clan leaders out there. I was wondering if maybe we could just set things aside. All you have to do is apologize, admit your wrongs, and let me rejoin the 99th. And I can create an officer program again, and I can bring all my members, and we can help make the 99th big. And I was like, do you not understand? I don't want you. I don't need you. And he just didn't get that through his head. He kept asking that week in, week after. And then, obviously, after enough no's, it just created this big old rivalry, and he has an obsession over me, and still does, obviously, because if you notice, everything out of his mouth is 99th this or Dre that.
Alright, now you made pretty much a video that kind of like ruined the Gold Pack clan.
Yeah, I did. It was called the Gold Pack Clan Exposed. I had just gotten my capture card just a little bit before that. And so I didn't really tell everybody in the community, obviously, about it because I wanted to catch a lot of people off guard. And evidently it kind of worked. So I put a bunch of things together over time, catching Marshall Goldpack, or whose name was the Hunky Panda at the time, kind of slipping up just like everybody else, saying things wrong. And he didn't think he was going to get caught, or I was going to save the picture or save the video. And he did. And his members started realizing that instead of telling him all the truth and stuff like that, that he was corrupt and lying and bullshitting and playing favorites, and he's just obviously running the most bullshit clan of all. And they kind of obviously kind of wormed my way. It was really easy manipulating, obviously, people. No offense, but, little kids are easy to manipulate if you know how to talk to them. You can convince somebody to join a clan or not join a clan or leave a clan. It's kind of really easy. And I feel bad for them, but that's honestly why a lot of people join Gold Pack, because it's obviously easy to lie to a youngling or somebody that's of the age of 9 to 14. No offense to them, people of that age out there, but it's kind of easier to manipulate the majority of people that age and lie to them and tell them, oh yeah, we have 300 members and we run this and that, we're the best clan out there, and they'll just believe it because they don't know anything. They don't know anything against it. And over time, obviously, he kept losing and everything. People didn't want to help him fight me anymore. Blah blah blah. They found him as false, lying. And then a player called Mama Goldpack, I believe she's 43 years old, single mom, joined his clan. She, just like everyone else, was brainwashed. He told them a story. They never heard my story, and I didn't care to tell them it because it was fun for me to have the conflict. It created a lot of publicity, He told everybody about my clan, so why stop it? And eventually one day, Mama Goldpack was in my party, and Marshall Goldpack wasn't there to tell everybody to leave before I got to talk. So he lagged out of the party one day, and they all decided to stay for a minute. And they asked me questions, where Marshall wasn't allowed to say, no, shut up, and don't listen. And I talked to her. I said, yeah, I mean, this is about me. This is about Marshall. And she's like, oh my fucking God. I had no idea about any of this stuff. He's never told me any of this stuff. I'm like, yeah, why would anyone tell you the wrongs that they have done and the lies that they have told, and the reasons that they do things realistically rather than the bullshit story that they gave you? I mean, how do you think somebody's going to ask you to help them? By telling you the truth? Sorry, the truth only convinces so many people. And she's like, well, I'd actually like to have another meeting with you. And I was like, great. So we did a little bit later that day, and she said, let's discuss some things on what we can do. And I said, all right, so obviously what I want you to do is what we can, I'd like to discuss is, obviously I asked her questions. I let her figure the answers out herself. I didn't brainwash her like Marshall. And I said, hey, you're old enough to understand this. This is what Marshall does. What do you think of it? Why do you think he does this? If he did this, why do you think he did this? And she's like, oh my God, that's mind-blowing. And I'm like, yeah, like that's kind of, you should have figured that out a long time ago. And I was just like, so now that you've kind of figured out and see actually through the bullshit, what do you want to do about it? She's like, honestly, he doesn't deserve to be leaving this clan. He's running everybody like his own personal bitches. And I was like, you're right. So do you think that these little kids should be treated like this, and manipulated like this? She said no. So she basically we divided a plan, and I told her that we wanted to have her become the leader of Gold Pack, take it over, and when she did, I was going to help her obviously get there to the top, and she had to basically do the majority of the work herself, obviously. And when she got to the top, she's female. I don't know any female, ugly or not, that can't get to the top of a clan if they actually put their mind to it. And she got her way there, flirting or not, realistic or not. I don't give a fuck. I just told her to do it. She got to the top. He literally gave her the leadership of the clan, announced it to everybody and everything. And not only did she get the leadership, because getting a leadership of the clan doesn't mean anything unless the members look at you as a leader as well. And the members literally looked at her as a leader and their leader. So when I told her to flip the switch and to remove him from the clan, she did. And that was that in the video where she removes him basically from the lobby. And all the members were with it. They were all gung-ho for the plan, and they all agreed for it. And he was exiled from his own clan. Literally. And I told her, I said, obviously you don't want to be branded with a piece of shit clan name that's all over YouTube as pathetic and embarrassing. So create a new clan and take all of his members. You're welcome to have them all because I don't want them. Anybody who decides to come to me is welcome to come to me. And that's what she did. And from then on, obviously I created the video, basically montaged a bunch of shit together. And I had my own fun with it. I mean, I had people that literally, I wish I recorded it, a guy literally in his clan, it was in some of the screenshots of the kick picture of a guy talking about how he's going to cut my family, cut me, make me bleed out, and have my brothers and sisters watch. And I was like, are you serious? Like, are you really saying this right now? And I was like, what if my little, what if I have a 2-year-old sister? Like, I have a 2-year-old sister and she has cancer. Like, and he's just like, well, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to stab the shit out of her and make her watch you bleed out, and I'm gonna laugh. And I was like, that's pretty pathetic. Like, I was like, is this what Marshall? I was like, this is what Marshall agree with this? He's like, Marshall told me to have me come to you and tell you all this shit, and I agree with him. And I was like, wow, that's pretty low. That's honestly pretty low. And from then on, obviously, I told him his IP after I told him I could pull IPs and boot him offline. He didn't think it was true until I started calling out IPs in the party and saying where they lived. And he freaked out when I called his IP out. And he started screaming and throwing everything. His mom walked in the room and got mad. And she told me to shut the fuck up and that she was going to call the police. And I told her everything that he was doing and saying. She flipped out. And all you hear in the background is him, like, it sounded like he smacked the shit out of his mom and then shoved her and locked the door, and he was just, like, screaming in his room. And all you could hear it all through the mic, and all of Gold Pack and my members are laughing their asses off. And I just thought it was the funniest thing. His name was Captain Riviera 22, I believe. And the dude literally blocked me from that day on because he was raging about how I had his IP and I could boot him offline, and he started threatening me with every book and everything in the book.
All right. So is this new like Gold Pack clan pretty much like Marshall's way of like trying to restart, or?
Yeah, obviously Marshall had his like if you notice, well, I don't know if you've noticed, but many people in the community have noticed that Marshall kind of disappeared after that video. He literally, he was exiled from his clan, and he gave up. He had no friends, no members, nobody, no legacy, no anything. So obviously, months went by, and he decided to come back slowly, and then he started recruiting and matchmaking just like anything else and starting over again. I mean, it's not really hard to recruit and brainwash more people. And of just like anybody else, you take a girl's virginity and like she's kind of hooked on you forever, usually. He had a few members that even though they went against him in the revolution, they kind of rejoined him and, helped him do that. That was like Tucker Goldpack and Spirit Eagle and Billy LC. I think were like his three main guys that just like sucked up. So I mean that's kind of what he's trying to do right now. Obviously he doesn't. He's one of those people that you could just tell them, look, dude, look at all you've done. You have not one person wants you to continue your clan. You're doing nothing for the community. Like there's no positivity to anything that you're doing. You're accomplishing nothing. And he's just like he ignores it all and pretends like that's bullshit. And he just runs everything as if he's blind to it all.
All right. So with this like new like pretty much the Mama Go Pack, did she like create her own clan now, or
yeah,
is her clan still up?
I don't. Yeah, I'm. It's more so she plays on Destiny, I think, and she's asked us for an alliance. So I mean, in general, she just helps us, asks for help for whenever she has a problem with Marshall, or he threatens her or harasses her or her clan. She just calls on us and we basically handle the situation because obviously like I would say that just like anybody else, like I don't know, they're going to call on us to kind of help them out when they can't or they feel that they can't handle the situation, especially after what we did to them. So yeah, she leads her own clan. I would look at it as decent, not in necessary size, but like just activeness. Basically all Gold Pack members, and they just basically have fun together, play together, I assume. But I mean, I see them mostly on Destiny. So I mean, it's like Flaming Phoenix or something like that, or now it's like Arbiter Phoenix. I don't even know. It's on my friends list, I think.
All right. Over these last couple of weeks, this is why I decided to bring up the topic of Gold Pack. He's kind of been doing a lot of stupid stuff within the community, especially over the kick chats. Do you want to weigh in on any of the stuff that has been said there?
I mean, it wouldn't really be doing much, but it's just common sense. Like in all reality, he's doing the same thing he's been doing. He just, like I said, he's blind to anything else. Somebody says like, there's no positivity. Like we made his top 10 video. Nobody, not one person agreed with his top 10. Not even the people on the list, even if they're posted as number one. And he literally, he found that it didn't even faze him. He didn't even pretend, oh, well, I'll just create another one. I'm sorry, guys. Obviously, I'll kind of fix that. And I understand I did wrong. He literally played it off as, I don't give a fuck. That's my top 10. It's legit. It's more legit than anyone's. And there's nothing you can do about it. And I'm creating another one. Like, are you serious? Like, are you stupid?
Yeah. Now, on his top 10, pretty much half of his video was stated with random facts, right? And
yes.
He placed yourself in there as well. But there was also something ironic when he was talking trash about you about halfway through the video. And he was talking about basically saying how you stole clan maps. And during this time, he was also displaying pictures of your own clan and multiple other clans in the community. What is your thought on that?
I thought it was funny. Just like anybody else in the community, yeah, I do use some maps where they're not mine. But they have the original author on there, and when somebody asks me who made this map, I do not say myself. I'm not a fucking idiot. I'm not retarded, and I don't claim things that aren't mine. Okay, if I have them, I mean, it's pretty dumb. I'm going to get caught eventually. Yeah, obviously, all you have to do is just end the game, push start, check the author, and it says who fucking created it. So no, if I got a map, I told everybody, yeah, no, this wasn't my map, so don't give me credit for it. I may have made some edits on it, but no, it's not my map. I'm going to use it. Team TAC maps, for sure. I've never made one. Never made one of my own. But the majority of my maps were made by myself or a clan member in my clan. and I have video footage of a lot of my maps. Not only that, the majority of my maps have my gamer tag on it, whether it be this one or my old gamer tag, which is XSX Dr. Dre XBX. That especially my basic training maps. That's one of the biggest ones. Again, they were created by me, solely me. So I mean, how do you? I mean, I can't really contest that. Like, there's nothing really to argue against it. The author is the author. Obviously, if I stole maps, like, it's going to say it in the thing. If you can get footage of me stating that this is my map and it doesn't have my name on it, then yeah. And if it has somebody that was never in my clan, yeah. But in my belief is if a player is in my clan, they created a map for me, or I asked them, I said, hey, here's an idea. I don't have time to make it because I've got a clan to run. You have time. You want to be active. You want to be an officer. Create this map for me. And I'll give you some feedback on it, help you improve it. I'll help you work on it a little bit. And then, yeah, obviously it was created for my clan. While in my clan, it is obviously my clan's property. And I've told them that when they created it, and they agreed with it. Even if they left my clan, it is still considered my map and my clan's map. So, I mean, if that's what he considers stealing maps, then sure, go right ahead. But I got permission for it. But the majority of maps were either my idea or my creation with my gamer tag, just so that I would avoid the problem of stealing maps. I would give credit where it's due. I'm not an idiot.
All right. So, is there anything you'd like to also talk about more about Marshall, or we?
Yeah, I would say there's not really too much more, but more so like it kind of builds off the like what you just asked, like the fact that he says that I steal maps. I wouldn't say that, obviously you can ask me, do I steal maps? And you can ask him, does Dre steal maps? It's just going to be a to and fro, he said, she said. But, like, instead of me telling you, look at the maps. Ask him, what maps did he steal? And if you think about it, if I go check, I might be able to find a map that Goldpack ran me through, his original map I told you, his initiation map. And even if I don't have it, I'm pretty sure I have the film. It's hilarious. So I want to know, why did his map go from an initiation map of an Easter egg hunt till he joined my clan, went through my basic training that in the entire community, only I run it. And it's the only map that I don't see any other maps that I found that run exactly like mine with things that I have. I have 3 days and they're the same thing, or they're different things. And what's funny is right after he left my clan or / was kicked, he created basic training, and it was in those words, Gold Pack basic training, not initiation test anymore. And it also had a lot of the things that I already had in it, but obviously in his own way. And I was like, yet you say that I steal maps, but the funny thing is like logically, why is it that your map the date was created after my maps were created, and yet they look a lot like mine? Where did you get those ideas from? I wonder who. But that's basically it.
All right. Now, there's been a lot of conflicts that you've had with multiple clans, and you were telling me earlier before we did this interview that you basically would battle a clan, and then their clan would disband a week later. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So obviously, when I was just like I think a lot of clans probably. Again, I can only kind of assume is the fact that I joined the community. I mean, I didn't join. I created my clan in 2012, and I didn't really meet any clans. And when I did meet a clan, it was more so a clan that was about the same size as me, or a little bit smaller, or only slightly bigger. But I always managed to just barely beat them, or beat them significantly. And it was always in raids. I mean, that was one thing I didn't even know. I stayed away from competitive. I thought 1v1s were worthless and pieces of shit. But then again, that was just because I sucked at them when I was first beginning. And so basically what I did is I thought that I would go in, fight a clan, and ask them for a raid. And everyone wanted to defend, so I said, go ahead, I'll take your base. And the excuse I loved hearing was, no one's ever beaten me in a raid, I'm undefeated, no one's ever taken my base. And they're the most OP bases you've ever seen. And evidently, I always took the base. I kept track of everyone that I've lost to in the community, and I know exactly who I've lost to. I just obviously went through too many wins to really keep track of those. I started realizing that obviously keeping a record was bullshit, because many clans would say we're 100 and 0, and then people would harass them. Well, you lost to this clan, put it on. no one would ever change it. So I think honestly records were bullshit, and I stopped carrying one because you could just change the numbers and claim it. But I looked at it as when I first created my clan, I kind of came up with obviously I strategized and kind of looked at my clan. I wanted to be somebody big, somebody that everyone knew. Like when you heard my gamer tag or my clan name, everyone knew about it, or the majority of people did. I mean, that's everyone's goal, I assume. And so I tried to figure out what could I do to create that, make that goal realistic, come true. And I said to myself, you know, logically in the real world, like any advertisement and any publicity is good publicity in all reality, because look at celebrity breakups, you know, like some of them are staged and bullshit, relationships are staged, but what does that do? That created a lot of publicity for them, and now look at them, they're all over the news and being talked about, like Justin Bieber. Like, really, it's embarrassing. But in all reality, so I said, well, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to beat every my goal is obviously win. You don't want to be looked at as pathetic. So I obviously made sure to win every raid. I would always attack because they're easier than defending, because you didn't have to sit in a raid waiting for them to go AFK and then just sit there for hours and hours. I would attack every base, take it, and obviously when you lost your own base and you can't get back into it, you begin to rage, so you leave. And I would also talk members into betraying their own clan. You know, it was really easy to convince people. So I just kept raid after raid. And at the end of the raid, I would be sure to trash talk, unless I felt that I respected that leader or what they had said to me. But normally the leaders would be really raging and talk shit to me in a private chat during the raid. So I knew at the end of the raid, I love trash talk, so let's kind of just throw some trash talk out there. And I would go ham with them. Obviously, I would just have I would not hold back. I wouldn't give zero fucks. I wouldn't be racist all the time. I would try to kind of be respectful at that sense, but I would talk so much trash on their clan and how pathetic they were. And yeah, I was wrong, but again, it's just a game, and it was funny, and it was hilarious, and everybody else loved it. And they would fight back, and so were their members. And what does every clan do when they hate a clan or when they lose? Let's go get my allies, let's get my best friends, let's get the next clan I find, and let's gather everybody. Let's make a coalition meeting, a website, and let's tell every clan to bring all their allies. Let's have a meeting about it. Here's 99th Dre or Dr. Dre. He has this clan, here's his website, here's his YouTube, here's everything. Let's take him down. Put spies in his clan, tell all your friends about him, and let's destroy this guy. He beat me in a raid, and he did this, this, and this. He called my mom a fat, and I'm just like, thank you. You told everyone about me. Everyone just subbed to my channel. I don't have a video on it. I mean, there's so much you've just done. You visited my website. I now have several people visiting it. But if I had told everybody, but if I was nice to everybody and said, "Hey, you want to be my ally and be my friend? You know, good game. I mean, hard work. You know, maybe we can play again, and we can just try a different map." If I did that, like honestly, I don't think anyone's gonna go around the community. Hey, so the 99th Dre beat me in a raid, and he's really cool. You should definitely go look to his YouTube. Yeah, no. So I said, let's be hated in the community, try and win every raid, everything, and just never shut my mouth. And I'll make friends along the way, or at the end of towards the end of my journey, I'll make friends there. And I did. Being hated got me. Again, I'm not gonna say I'm at the top, but got me towards the top or on that track faster than anything else would, in my opinion. And that's kind of how I made my way through there.
All right. So once again, like you were saying, like basically, like a lot of the like clan communities pretty much hated you, and that was kind of for what you just said before, right?
Yeah.
And mainly, was it any like clans that were known off of YouTube or known off of like their media?
I know SOH was one in my again, these are just from what I know and what I met. Obviously, I wasn't subscribed to everybody. I didn't go sit on YouTube. I probably never did. I had my members do it for me because they liked YouTube and I liked playing Halo instead. But people, mainly I would say UGN was the one I was subscribed to and saw videos on, and SOH. And then I think Isosaurus UK as well. I know Isosaurus UK, I want to say, was probably the biggest in media. Again, from what I saw, I can't say for people that I had not been subscribed to or were not aware of in the community. But again, from what I had been around and what I had been experiencing and who I had met, Isosaurus had one of the biggest medias. He was also looked at as like a god to other people. I never saw it. I took it as just another player that had a decent clan and was actually doing successful. It's not that I disrespected him or looked down upon him. It's just I didn't look at him as a glorified leader of, of like a god in every way. But again, take no offense. I don't mean offense to that. It's just that was my opinion. But I would say him would be probably the biggest one in my opinion. Again, from what I was aware of.
All right. So mainly, you're kind of like a person that like sticks with the game when it comes to like clans.
Yeah. Halo Reach. I have like 120 days on that game, like spent. If you look at like my service record on Halo Waypoint, it's kind of like I've got like 120 days spent on the game, and I didn't even hit Inheritor until like last month or some shit because I played custom games all day, every day, forging, training. Like that was my life for forever. It's not like I obviously was in high school. In high school, I knew how to make time for things. So I would obviously knew when I can go to parties, go to friend's house, go to class. Obviously, in high school, you don't really have much of a life until you get closer to your senior year. So obviously, everyone says that they do, but in realistic, like you don't. But whatever, I just kind of made time for the game. I was a leader, obviously, and I tried to find more benefits out of it and created something more out of it, more of a family than just a clan, and then started looking more long-term, what I could do with it, what it could eventually become, and how far it could go. And so, obviously, I just stuck with the game, and I don't play anything. You ask anybody in my clan, what's the only game Dre plays? It's Reach. When everybody's on GTA and Minecraft and Destiny, what is Dre playing? Reach. Because I love the game. It's not that I don't like any other game. It's just obviously I'm going to make time for what I have set. I'm leading a clan on Reach. I don't see why I should be playing another game when everybody expects me. There's always somebody that wants to be learning and somebody that should be given attention to on Reach. I shouldn't be sitting on fucking Minecraft saying, fuck you all, guys. I'll be all back on tomorrow. Like, really? Like, you're a leader. You should take full dedication to it. Managers in a job, they work when they're off the clock. I do the same thing when it comes to my clan.
All right. So is the 99th still up?
Yeah, it's still up, running, functional. We're sticking more so competitive because, unfortunately, majority of players are obviously school just started, so everybody's complaining that they have too much schoolwork, clubs, this and that, too much stress in their life. Little kids and over dramatizing things. So it's not that our military is small, but it's small. It's not as large as we used to have it. We used to like sit around running 216 lobbies at all times, but now we're only like running a lobby and a half maybe on a good day. So it's kind of one of those things. Is just like, it's obviously the military is slowly falling. A majority of clans, if not all, and but again, I can only speak for myself in general, and also it doesn't help the fact that every time I ask for a raid against anybody, the only people who accept a raid from me would be Navcom. The only time anyone else wants to raid me is if they put like a fucking million rules on it and an OP base and put a timer on that OP base. I'm sorry, I can't take. If it takes 6 hours to get to your base, just to get to it, I'm sorry, I can't take your base in an hour. So I mean, it's kind of hard to, give your members what they want as an activity and involvement and enjoyment when nobody wants to raid you, which is understandable, I guess. Obviously, I've kind of raided everybody or the majority of everybody, or nobody will raid me. The only people who I've seen that definitely accept all raids would be Navcom. So, I mean, obviously, other than that, that's pretty much the only clan that's actually accepted everything that I've asked of a raid, but they haven't accepted my competitive matches.
All right. So this kind of leads to like my next topic, and that's basically what do you kind of see what's going on for like kind of the role-playing community such as military and UNSC?
You mean for the future, like what's to come?
For right now.
Like I see it obviously going downhill. Everybody's waiting for Halo 5, so like so many people are not even role playing anymore. Like they don't even take the game seriously, which is kind of sad. I mean, you should go out with a bang. I know when MCC came out, everybody like sent like sad videos on Facebook and everything on their YouTube will remember Reach and stuff like that. And everybody's kind of given up on that. Everybody's just a troll. Nobody's kind of taking the game seriously on Halo Reach, which is kind of sad. I mean, I still enjoy the game. Obviously, it does get boring and things are getting old. But I mean, it's not something that I'm just gonna just throw away. You know, I began my clan on Reach. It's been my home, and I kind of want to enjoy it still. And I know there's still clans, a lot of small clans out there. I really like seeing their drive through the community. Like they're nobodies. They're players with 15 members max. They only play on the weekends. Some of them have a Connect mic, and these guys are running it like they're top dog, or like they're in 6 different wars and it's heated and they over dramatize it. But I mean, it's so cool to watch how that's how this community used to be. And it's no longer like that. It's pretty sad. Like, we take this and everybody says that this game is a joke, and, you know, you're a Reach kid, you're a 2015 kid. Like, why are we trashing on the kids that are actually taking this game seriously and enjoying it? It's not that they're taking it like super serious or anything, but it's just like they're actually taking it into moderation. Like, isn't that what we're all doing? And yet these small clans are doing it, and they get shit for it because they're actually taking it into moderation. They're enjoying it, and they play it less than the players that are saying, oh, this kid got super mad because I took his members or because I beat him in a raid. Yeah, like, he's dedication to it. It's his first clan. Like, are you serious? Like, yeah, this is what you all used to be like, and yet you guys are all laughing at it. People laugh at, oh, that kid plays a raid, and all he wants to look for is an assassination on the clan leader. And then they're just like, how pathetic, like 2015 Reach kid. And I'm like, let's look back at how many clan leaders right now still in the community, whether they're moved on to Reach or move on to MCC or not, literally posted shit on their file share saying, I assassinated this guy. Whatever their excuse is, they all used to be there. They all used to be that age. And I just think it's funny. I mean, I'll own up to it and say I did the same thing. I went into a raid, assassinated the clan leader and everybody else in it, and posted on my file share. And, you know, that was the biggest thing. Even if it didn't mean anything to anybody, they would do it in just to as a revenge, or just to piss them off. So, I mean, honestly, it's just people, like, role playing isn't anymore. People taking this game into moderation isn't anymore, unfortunately, because they feel it's not any fun and that they're going to wait for Halo 5. But that's what happened to MCC, and look at where everybody's at now.
Alright. So, for the future, basically, do you believe that Halo 5 is going to kind of bring back the role-playing community, or if it's kind of going to try to, like, enhance, like, the more competitive side?
Yeah, I mean, competitive is still a little role-playing. Like, you look at THG, they were only competitive BTB, and they still took things to moderation, obviously, and to, like, role-playing wise, because they, like, put as, like, they're all team name. They all played as a band of brothers and only together, and they did their own little thing. It was just in a different aspect. The same thing is, you know, with Halo 5, obviously it's going to be a new game. It's going to be a new type of I don't know, lifestyle, I guess you can say. Everyone's going to, it's going to change big time, just like MCC. I know everybody's going to move over to Halo 5, even if nobody likes it. People are going to fall on to finally creating a clan on MCC, and they're just going to make it work like Z4 Bros has. And clans are going to fall on to anything else that's on the Xbox One, because, believe it or not, obviously Xbox One's shutting down. So, I mean, Xbox 360 is shutting down, my fault. So, you know, it's kind of, everybody's going to be forced to go over there, so people are just going to make the best of it. But when it comes to Halo 5, I think that's going to be more competitive, yeah. I mean, that's kind of what most games are kind of trying to base everything off of, is just more competitive, more the multiplayer than anything else, than the sandbox forge and shit, because, and I mean, that's fine, obviously, but, you know, I'm sure just like whoever created the idea of raids and aspect, obviously, we're going to make the best of it. Somebody's going to come up with this idea, or this way of playing in Halo 5, some new thing or some update's going to happen, a Halo Reach DLC or whatever, backwards compatibility, and something's going to be made, and things are going to continue in some way, shape, or form. But will things ever be the same? No. I can guarantee you that and promise you that. I knew that when MCC came out, that things are going to just keep changing. That's life. But I think it'll grow more competitive than anything, yeah. Which is very unfortunate, obviously, because raids are, even though they're shit now, I mean, obviously they're still somewhat fun. You can still find enjoyment out of them. Obviously, that's why people do them all fucking day, even though they claim that it's just for trolling.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to say during this interview? Because I'm kind of out of questions.
Yeah, I had, let's see, let's see what I had. I had like just a little bit of notes, just so that I kind of was aware of, kind of reminding myself, I guess, what was going on. I know a lot of players in the community have kind of come back. Like I know Destroyer 652 came back recently, but he's come back a couple times. Some people are curious, as to what my past gamer tags were, and some people have never asked. Some people didn't know that I had one. I kind of wanted to kind of give everybody else that is my first gamer tag was a random gamer tag. It was Sunnier Place 7. Then I changed it to XSX Dr. Dre XBX. And it was kind of built off as the S and the B were both Sunny Boy, because I was always called Sunny Boy. So those are my other gamer tags, and then I turned it into the 99th Dre, obviously, when I found and created that kind of blood family name. And then I think that was basically, I mean, that's pretty much anything, almost everything about my clan in general. I mean, obviously, a bunch of people call me a lot of things, and honestly, I don't care. I mean, it's a game. I enjoy it. But obviously, I'm here to play it and enjoy it, just like everybody else, so.
All right. So I'm pretty sure that's all we have to cover for this interview.
Yeah, right on.
All right. I'd like to thank you for coming on this interview, Dre.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I know that your videos are looked at as some people in the community pretty highly. So obviously, I just kind of subscribed a couple days ago. I'll definitely look at your videos, though. It'd be great if everybody subscribed to my channel and everything on my bio. My bio is obviously has everything about my clan, so I mean, you guys are welcome to message me or check it out, even if you hate me, and leave hate mail everywhere. It's the 99th Dre.
All right. Once again, thank you for coming on this interview. If you guys enjoyed this video or interview, be sure to like it up. If you guys have any comments, I'm not sure if you're gonna check the comments or reply to them.
Yeah, definitely. Why wouldn't I?
I'll reply to you. But anyways, guys, that is it for this interview. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll be uploading more videos soon. Bye.